Nav, welcome to the Will to Win podcast. It's so great to have you on the show. And I only met you very recently at a social event, and you were telling me about how you've traveled the world and you've seen all these incredible places. How many places have you been to? Where did it all start?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me here. And it's just been a pleasure to have met you and being on the show. So it started so spontaneously. I never thought that I would get to see so much of the world, but I never got to travel so much when I was younger. In my early 20s, I think I was a bit more focused on my career and more of my studies, and I wasn't financially well off as well at that time. So I really started traveling in my mid-20s, and I find that I'm just so addicted to that, and I love exploring cultures, meeting people, and learning a lot more about the world, because we are in a school of life. We have to learn about different people and different cultures and everything around us. So that's how it started. And then I find that I just became more curious about places during the journey. And yeah, recently I went to Kyrgyzstan and Central Asia. I think I learned so much about the history and how Turks and how these Central Asian communities, how much the common culture that they share. So I think you don't get to learn and see so much if you just stay in the same place for long. So I would say definitely curiosity and getting to know and understand the world a lot more.
And what's some of the key, I guess, lessons that you've taken away in your travels?
Yeah. So I find that I've gone so far on my own, and I've met people from so many different places and different cultures. And I've had language barriers. I'm not extremely fluent in Spanish. I'm not fluent in Russian, but whenever I felt that you needed help, people have just come and supported you, and they even don't speak the same language. The sign language is the universal language that works. So they just come and they just, oh, that's the place to go, and that's the place to do this. And the kindness and the humanity, I feel that's what I've learned. We all are very different. We come from different places, but we're very similar too. We might have the similar problems, we might have the similar journeys and similar passions and similar life experiences. So that's what I love about travel. They meet someone and you're, wow, I feel that I know you forever. Yeah.
And would you say that these experiences have helped you to be more understanding towards people?
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes I think we can put people in boxes, and we can think that, oh, that person is from this country, so they are this, so that stereotypical kind of behavior. So, but I think a little bit differently from that. I think that humanity is the first thing that we should look at, that how someone treats you and how great you get on with someone, how much common interest that you have, how much kindness someone shows you. Yeah, so that definitely opens your mind a little bit more, and more empathy and more understanding around people. And sometimes I've seen people are so poor around the world that they have the biggest heart and they want to offer you everything that they've got. So it just warms my heart a little bit. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. And to imagine there's people out there who have got hardly anything. Yeah. They're still willing to give. They're still willing to help too.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, definitely. I remember I was in South America, and that's probably one of my favorite continents from all my travels, because people have just shown me so much generosity. I was in this bakery and I wanted to buy something, and this guy he told I was local.
Yep.
And he's, I'm from India, but I live in Australia. And then he's, oh my God, you're from Australia. He was just so happy and so excited. And then he's giving me free food, free stuff. And it's just a small bakery. You want to save every penny, but I find that people have been very kind and humble towards me. So I love that. Yeah.
Good. And What would you say is one of your greatest highlights in your travel experiences?
Wow. I think that's a very tough one. Yeah.
Do you have a memorable experience, something that really
Mhm.
touched your heart?
Yeah.
Obviously, you mentioned about people's kindness.
Yeah.
Was there an experience that changed you, that shaped the way you see the world, something that really
Mhm.
kind of spoke to you?
I would say a lot of travel stories and travel journeys, and from my recent travel, then I was in Kyrgyzstan, and we were hiking Altan Arashan, one of the hike, and we were trying to look for a place where we can stay the night when we got to that valley, and we were trying to see where we can stay, and there was this young girl, I think she was 13 years old when I turned 14 years old, and she's the only one who could actually speak English fluently in that town.
Wow.
And I think I loved that. She was so young, but then so smart and business oriented. And then she could convince us in a very nice way that, okay, you guys can stay here and we'll make you feel welcomed. And the way she was so young, but then so capable of managing the household and even convincing the tourists and the travelers. And then she has her younger brothers and siblings. She was looking after them as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think when we are put in different situations in life, I think we become capable of so many things at a very early age. As well. So I think that was quite impressive to see her confidence,
Definitely.
her, and she was so respectful when you were talking to her. So I thought that, wow, that's really impressive for someone who's this young and have this kind of maturity. So yeah, and I think you can learn from young ones too sometimes. So yeah, it was very good interaction.
Hey.
Yeah.
And would you say that through the process of learning
Yeah.
from a young age, that
Yeah.
that better equips people for the future, their life down the track, I guess?
Yeah. So I think when I looked at a girl, I think her journey is a little similar to mine. If I have to talk about that, because a lot of people see me as a girl like who has traveled the world somehow now, but I had a very, I would say, challenging upbringing because I don't come from a very well-off family. So we, my parents, I think we had to think a lot about how much you can spend on this and that. We didn't have electricity at home when we were studying. So I grew up in a very small town somewhere in the mountains. We didn't have enough resources. The education system isn't great. So what I think I've learned from that, even at the early stages, life is never going to be smooth, right? So I've learned that you have to make the most from your life by seeing every problem as an opportunity and stay consistent in your life. So I think when I looked at that girl, I think it did remind me a little bit. And my brother, I've got one brother, he's younger. So I think for me, I looked after him even when I was younger. He won't go to school without me. So sometimes, so I think it just a little bit reminded me of my own self. And I do think, yes, people can learn quite a lot at early stage, but I do think that people should also enjoy their childhood and they should not be given so much responsibility that they don't enjoy it either. Yeah. So yeah, I think I admire people who see the thing in a positive light. Yeah.
And you've obviously come to Australia, and not in terms of other countries and being here in Australia, what have been some key points of difference?
Yeah.
Do you feel you've settled here in Australia, or?
Yes, I've definitely settled. I get asked this question so much. So I've lived away from home since I was 15 years old. I've been very independent because of that reason. Obviously, my parents couldn't come here. I'm grateful for my brother to be here in Australia. I've got a really good set of friends around me, and I'm very grateful for that. And yes, I've traveled a lot, a fair bit of world. I'm not saying that there are a lot more countries in the world I still have a lot to see, but I think I feel home here. I love the work-life balance. The people are so laid back. The weather is great. So I really feel that even though I can be in US and I want to come back to Sydney because I being in Sydney. And I think it's just, just feel that this is more home than home anymore. Yeah.
I see.
Mhm.
What would be your favorite place in Sydney?
My favorite place in Sydney? Oh, that's a good question. I think if you ask me Australia, then I would say say Whitsundays.
Right.
It's
Oh,
gorgeous.
nice. In Towns
Gorgeous.
Way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really pretty. I really going around Coogee and that.
Coogee Beach.
Yes, I that good happy vibes, and you can go see sunrise. I'll have a coffee, walk around. Yeah, that kind of little things. Yeah.
And is that something you do regularly, or here and there, just go and watch the sunrise?
I would do it more often, but how we get to immersed in our 9-to-5 culture.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so you do have to do your things, but I think I would do it a bit more often.
And if you could watch the sunrise more often, would it be once a month? Would it be once every 3 months?
I think my travel adventures, they're so surrounded, they're so much around being in nature. So I think I fill up my appetite by going away and just shutting my life off from Sydney and just being somewhere in nature and be somewhere so quiet and sit down and just relax and meditate and just, it's hard to shut your brain down. Obviously, you're constantly thinking, but I find that's just a very nice way to disconnect from your normal life for a little bit, and then you just recharge yourself, and then you appreciate, and then you have that gratitude, and then you come back home, and then I should be way more grateful for my life, because a lot of people around the world, they don't even get to leave their own country, or they don't even get to have food on their plate, or the normal amenities of the normal resources. So I think we should be so much grateful for the little things in life. So I find nature is such a big part of my life. So whether it's sunrise, sunsets, being in the rainforest or lush green jungles, or hiking a mountain or chilling on a beach, I love that kind of things, and it just makes me happy.
Wow. And in terms of mountains, what would you say would be the biggest mountain that you've had to climb?
So if so I've done a few hikings. I've been to Patagonia. I think my longest was 100K. So that was 4 days hiking. I ended the W track somewhere in the south of Patagonia. It was really beautiful, really windy when we were walking, but we saw really beautiful views, and the condor, which is one of the most beautiful bird in the world. So we got to see that while I was hiking. I've done Rainbow Mountain in Bolivia, done Fitzroy somewhere in Argentina. I would love to hike Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa at some point in time. So I was in Africa in December last year and really enjoyed my time there, because there's so many, the South, for example, South Africa, it's surrounded by so many mountains around it. So people do hiking on most days. Every day people go and climb and hike up to the Table Mountain and come down, which is amazing. I think if I was living somewhere like that, I think I would do it very often. But yeah, Mount Kilimanjaro is somewhere I want to go and challenge myself. And I love the feeling of getting to the top, and then you admire the view, and then when there are some stages, it's just like you walk, you get tired at some point and you're like, I can't do this. But then when you're hiking, you get to a point where you're so tough, I don't know why I'm doing it. But when you push yourself and you get to the top, you really feel that feeling of freeness, that, wow, I can achieve any mountain, any hurdle in my life. So that's the other reason to hiking. And yeah, so definitely that's on my list to see.
That's fantastic. And are there any other exciting plans or adventures or that you have lined up? I mean, it doesn't have to be travel. I mean,
yeah, I would say that I love, for me, it's all about the little things, small things. So I think I want to stay more consistent with my health. So a month and a half ago, I wasn't very well. I had to undergo surgery and things like that. So I'm just trying to get back on track with my life now. So yeah, focus more on fitness, and I sometimes listen to some podcasts, so do a lot more of that. I love quality time with my friends, and more sunshine, more reading books, and that kind of small things is something that I want to focus on. And life's good, I guess. And there's always going to be bumps here and there, but I think otherwise, yeah, there's always sunshine.
That's amazing. And you're reading some books. What's one of the books you've read recently that's had an impact on you?
So I've been listening to, I should probably say, more audiobooks. I've been listening a lot to Joe Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza? I'm actually listening to a lot of his books at the moment as well.
Yeah. So a friend introduced me to his books, and anyways, I love psychology, and I feel it's really great way to be able to connect to people, because sometimes I don't think people are bad. I think it's just our experiences that shape us, and sometimes our experiences can make us bitter, and sometimes it can make us stronger as well. So I find that, yeah, I think Joe Dispenza he talks a lot about how our brain functions and how we can rewire our mind to be better, and which is so true. So I'm reading one of his book called Becoming Supernatural. So he talks about this woman where she had a very difficult life, and she was suffering physically. She had a medical disease, and then her partner, the relationship that she was in, that was abusive, and she had a kid as well. And then she was at that point that there's nothing that she can do about her life. But then she changed her mindset, and then she worked on her mindset that, no, I can fix my life. And then from being unwell to super fit and super well over the time, obviously, I find that shift can change anything. And she's now she's a successful, confident woman, doing so great in her life. So so it's just those little stories that sometimes can inspire you. So yeah, I haven't finished it yet, but still reading, still listening.
Well, thank you for sharing. That's a great story, and very inspiring. And to expand upon people's stories, your story, which you've already shared a bit of, what would be something that's inspired you, perhaps even on your travels or in life in general,
right?
Something that's really impacted you and changed your mindset, changed the way you see things, rewired your brain?
Yeah, so I find my younger self was so strong. If I think about my when I was 15, living away from home from that age, someone who's 15, they don't know what they're doing in their life. So, and then you're just being told that, okay, you go and make your own choices. So when I was growing up, as I said, we were not very well off in my very early young age. My family was very supportive, very loving, very caring, but sometimes when you don't have the right set of resources, you do struggle a lot in your life. So my mum is a very positive and optimistic person, and she always to see the bright side and good things. So I think she really built that mindset in us that you have to look at the positive things and you have to keep going, you have to keep pushing. So I think that was a very good support. But then again, doing things on your own from very early stage, you struggle with a lot of things, and I did. And I find that did made me strong day by day. And even when I was younger, so I do have a lot of big family around my dad's side. But for some reason, I think they didn't accept myself and my brother very closely in the family. So I think that little bit of rejection as well, I think it really made me, it was a positive trigger for myself that I want to be so better in my life. And I do want to build a really great life and meet the right set of people around me that I can call my family. So I do see my friends, my long-term friendships with people as more as family versus just friendships. And I think that also have made me care a lot more about the people I actually want to, I love and care of my brother and my very close friends. But that definitely drove me to where I wanted to be in my life. I mean, I'm not exactly there, but I think we all are work in progress. So still doing, and yes, it was a rigorous journey coming to Australia, rebuilding your life here, being an immigrant, and sometimes you are. I feel that sometimes you're struggling as an immigrant. I'm sure a lot of people who will go through this journey because you come from somewhere else and you adapt the culture and you blend in, and you sometimes go back and then you're, oh, I'm not the same person, and then you come here and then you are not going to be 100% immersed in the whole culture either. So it's just that you become this person who's 50-50 in both ways. So I feel I just wanted to learn a lot more about the world because I didn't get to do that when I was younger. And I did ask myself that, do I want to live a life where I've done things as you are told, that stereotypical life that you study, you work, you settle, and then you have family, kids, and then just die, right? So
oh, you just explain the whole of life, the whole process. Wow.
So, yeah, sorry, but I just I think I've challenged my thoughts, and I've challenged the way I've done things so much, because I find if I don't do that, who else will do it? So it's not just the traveling part. For me, it's being better physically, being better mentally, being better in relationships, being better in your day-to-day life, how you're thinking, when you're doing things. I think everything matters so much to me because I don't know about afterlife. I think you've just got one life. You just got to make the most of it, squeeze as much as you can. And given my experience in the past, that I didn't get to do so many things in the early years of my life, I've done it whenever I could. So whenever I saw an opportunity, I've gone and traveled, and I've done things wherever I could. So yeah, I find that I'm happy with my journey so far.